Hello, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram people. It is me, Stacie, again. And today I have with me the lovely, wonderful, she said, did such a fantastic job on my IG takeover.
Thank
This
you.
is Lyssa Coulter.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun today.
Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. You did so good. Anytime I, looked over there to see what you were posting or whatever, I was like, God, this girl is so good. And she's so much, you were just having fun.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I want people to do when they do take over the IG is just have fun with it.
For sure.
Sometimes on y'all's pages, you have to be all business-like and, I don't care on my page. Just cut up and have a ball.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Fun to let loose and kind of just let people get to know who you are as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I wanted y'all to do. So nailed it.
Thank you.
You did great. I'm going to tell everybody from now on, check out because we'll save many of your slides to my highlights. So I'll be like, go watch the highlights and see what Lyssa did and just copy that.
Oh, you're so sweet.
And that'll be perfect. Oh, okay. People watching again. Look, y'all know me. It's 7:15. I'm not going to change it and say we'll go live at 7:15 because then it'd be 7:30. There's something about that 15 minutes that I don't know. Tonight, Paul just about cut his finger off. So we were trying to find Band-Aids and bandaged it up and try to do all that. He was going to the grocery store, and of course, he can't go to the grocery store bleeding everywhere. So we had to get him fixed up. So that's my reason for being late tonight. Not Lyssa's fault, all mine. But y'all know that, right? They're used to me. They know that's what happens. All right. Well, we'll just jump right in here and get started. And I always like to try to get everybody in the mood for the interview and just kick things off with a song.
Yeah.
So have you got one in mind that you want to get us going with?
Yeah, I actually was going to share a brand new original today that's kind of what I wanted to kick off with.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah.
Oh, I think I accidentally closed the page out. Of course, accidentally closes the page out as I'm trying to close my 50 other pages out.
Oh, yeah. Yep, of course. That's the way it goes.
Tends to happen. It's like...
Of course it does.
I always have like a bunch of pages open because I do like so much graphic design stuff and all of that, and I always have everything open. And of course, I was like closing them. I'm like, I don't need any of the. Oh, yep, you do need one of them, Liz. You do.
I'm the same way. I have so many tabs open that it's not even funny. And then I have like 2 different Google accounts going. Yep. I have my work one going, and then this side of things. So I'm always like minimizing mine, pulling up my work one, and yeah, it's crazy.
Nope, I get it. I get it completely. All right. All right. So this is one I wrote with my friend Darian Lee last week. I texted her at 11:30 and was like, I know our co-write is tomorrow at 11 in the morning, but like, you feeling down to write right now? Because my emotions are flowing. So I ended up doing like 11, I think it was until 2 a.m. we wrote. And
wow,
we got this out of it. So I'm going to play this one.
All right.
All right. Oh, 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 oh. I see through all your lies and all your blurred lines and every string that you will tie. Count your cards, you're never gonna leave me scarred. And if you're looking for an ace to play, can't match my poker face. You stole my pride on those long nights, left me lost with a feeling that I can't deny, hanging on your every word, but mine were unheard. Over your truth and lies, well, you rolled the dice. You were stacking chips while I was playing nice. I wrote the rules, I played this game. I'm not depressed to claim whoa, 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 I wasn't there to play. I let my guard down anyway. I'm hopping off this crazy train. Now you've got me looking like a fool, 'cause it's another game I knew. And if you really wanna play, you stole my pride on those long nights, left me lost with a feeling that I can't deny, hanging on to every word while mine were unheard. Over your truth and lies while you rolled the dice, or you were stacking chips while I was playing nice. I wrote the rules, I played this game. I'm not your prize to claim. Whoa, 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 You stole my pride on those long nights, let me lost with a feeling that I can't deny, hanging on your every word. Well, mine were unheard. Over your truth and lies, well, you rolled the dice. You were stacking chips while I was playing nice. I wrote the rules, I played this game. I'm not your prize to claim. Oh, 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 oh,
I love that.
Thank you.
Wow. And you just, had you been working on it prior to calling your co-writer, or it just like hit you at 11 o'clock that night and you're like, I got to get this down?
So like an hour, like maybe like a half hour before, I was writing down words and I was like, okay, I like kind of where this like chorus could go, or like where it could go. So I had like some lyrics down a half hour prior, but then I was like, no, like I need a co-writer on this. And I just like called her up and I was like, Darian, like we need to figure this out.
That's crazy. And then you wrote it in 2.5 hours.
Yeah, 2.5, 3 hours. Yeah.
Wow. Now, whose idea? I cannot sing. I cannot carry a tune in a bucket, so I'm not going to be able to do this well. But who came up with the OOO part?
Darian actually did.
That is killer. I love that.
Thank you. Very catchy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really catchy. And I found myself already just like singing that back.
Cool. And I love that. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like that. What's the name of that?
We haven't really put a name to it yet. We're working on it.
Okay.
But it is planned. So I do plan to, I have a bunch of releases that I plan on releasing in 2021. So I'm taking this year to kind of slow down a little bit and focus on my writing. So I plan to just not release any music this year. With everything going on, I was like, you know what? This is the world telling me I need to slow down.
Yeah.
So I was like, we're going to focus on writing and focus on style. And in 2021, we come back fresh, new, and looking good.
That sounds like an awesome plan. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you're not releasing anything this year?
Nope. So this year we are not releasing anything. I'm doing the Instagram and Facebook lives, and I'll always share my music with like little videos and stuff. But we are not going to be doing any official releases this year.
Okay. That's an interesting take. That's different than what it seems like everybody else is trying to push out as many singles as they can.
Yes. So my kind of reasoning behind this is I started in the industry only 3 years ago. And when I first hopped in, I was like, oh, like I want to just release music, get stuff out there for fans, And I released 7 or 8 singles my first 2.5 years. And it was great. I was on a roll. And then
I noticed you had a lot on Spotify.
Yeah. So when this all kind of hit, I was like, maybe like I was kind of struggling already with like what I wanted to sound like and go for. And I was like, maybe I
Mhm.
need to stop for a second, and maybe I need to like take this year to figure it out and not stop like putting out content altogether, but just stop like
Yeah.
doing official releases. And I was like,
Right.
maybe this is like a sign that I need to focus on me this year and find other ways that I can, you know, create another income stream or be creative with that, and be creative with what kind of content I'm getting out to my fans. So for example, we're really focusing on the Coulter Crew VIP thing we've got going on, which is the fan club that we've got. Yes, so that's like a $35 fan club. You get like a t-shirt, a bunch of merch, and then you get into the Facebook group, and we have a bunch of exclusive content in there. So I've been trying to be creative with that and creating more content for the regular pages. We have the partnership with Love Boutique going on right now, and all these different things. So I took this time as a way to be creative within my writing and really find who I was, but also to be creative with the content that I was putting out.
You know, I love that. That's a completely different route than most of the other artists are taking right now. But I love that you had that self-awareness, that you felt like that's what you needed to do right now.
Yeah.
To like really hone in on yourself and say, okay, this is who Lyssa is. This is who I want you to know me to be.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just moved down to Nashville a year and a half ago too. So for me, I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to do this, I need to, you know, kind of early on, I need to figure out what I need in order to make the rest of this work.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people do just jump in head first without any kind of plan.
Mm-hmm.
And think, okay, well, you know, I'm just going for it and whatever happens, happens. And, you know, no plan, no formula to go by or anything. But you're really trying to, not that everybody else is not trying to make a business out of it. They are, but you've like got a business plan laid out.
Yeah, so that's like that's actually a side of me that I've learned to appreciate a lot. Is I love the business side of like the music industry, and I like have a really strong, like I've created a really strong sense of that for myself, which is kind of where Cloud9 came into play. Is I was like, well, I want to teach other artists how the business side of the industry is just as important, and sometimes even more important than the creative side. You know, and you know, I kind of own this, you know, I don't have a voice like Whitney Houston or like Christina Aguilera, and I love my voice, don't get me wrong, but it's not like that. It's not polished like that. But sometimes what people don't realize is that even though you don't have like the most amazing, clearest, whatever voice, you know, you kind of have your own thing. If you have that business side, it helps so much and it pushes you so much further. So I kind of, as much as I'm working on my craft and my artistry, I very much also work on the business side of things.
Well, we'll get to the business in just a second. Do not sell yourself short. Listen, my God, your voice is beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Don't get me wrong. I love my voice so much. It's something that I've been like really working on for the past 3 years. I'm not selling myself short at all. I just know that I'm not
You're not that powerhouse.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And you know, there are very few people
for sure
that can compare themselves to Whitney Houston.
For sure. Absolutely.
I mean, let's be real on that. Very few people can compare themselves to Whitney. But no, what I like about your voice is it's got that little bit of something different.
Thank you.
There is something in your voice that sets you apart from everybody else.
Thank you. I've actually found that about myself too. It's so funny because I keep I'm not trying to sound like conceited or anything, but I think lately during like these past couple months of quarantine, I've been like looking into myself and like, I'm like, oh, I actually like that. Oh, I like these little quirks about myself. Like I like this. So I've really been like trying to hone in on that and like really like kind of get into the self-love thing, because at 22, it can be hard to do that.
Yes, exactly. Self-confidence. Yes. All women need that.
Absolutely.
All women do that, and women need to support other women in that.
Yep. 120%. Like I cannot stress that. I am so fortunate to have found the girlfriends that I did down in Nashville. I really am. I cannot explain how blessed I feel to have met the girlfriends that we all support each other, like as if we were all in completely different things, doing completely like we're all in the same community. We're all doing country pop music, but we are all supporting each other as strongly as we were if we weren't in the music industry. And
that's amazing.
I think that, like I said, I just feel so incredibly blessed to have found a group of girlfriends that do that. Like for me, and it's so sad, but for me, that's so unheard of. And I grew up not having, like, I'll be 100%, I grew up not having many friends, but I also wasn't afraid to be myself. And that was kind of the trade-off that I had to take in high school and middle school. And I don't regret that at all. And it definitely sucked during the time, but I'm very, like, proud of myself for taking that route. But the fact that I never thought that I'd find a close group of friends. And when I moved down to Nashville, I was like, this is going to be impossible. Like, everyone's going to be at each other's throats. Like, this is how, and like, that was the total opposite of what happened. Like, I found some girlfriends that were really great. And I mean, you're always going to have people in the world that are trying to tear you down, always, like, you know, no matter what, that's just kind of life. But the fact that within my first year of moving down to Nashville, I found that group of girlfriends that are like that and supportive like that is honestly just incredible to me. It's so funny. I'll, like, be so happy when we're hanging out that sometimes I get, like, super emotional and I cry. I happy cry a lot. And they'll start laughing at, they're like, Lyssa's crying again. And I'm like, I know, but it's just so great. And it's just, like, something we're all able to, like, kind of bond over and stuff. So it's good. It's good. I feel very fortunate.
That is amazing, because that is a rarity to find a group of girlfriends that you can hang out with and somebody in the group is not jealous of somebody else and secretly trying to tear them down. Or I can't stand that. That's why, like, growing up, I was friends more with guys than I were girls, because I hate girls.
Yep. Even now, I have more guy friends. I love my girlfriends, but I'm like, if I'm going out on Broadway, I'm going out with the guys.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, girls can be so mean, and
they can be so catty.
Yes, that is exactly the word. And if you're not that, you know, perfect Barbie doll size too, well, I'm sorry, I'm not. You know,
I think what we tend to find in the music industry a lot too is, you know, when you do find those people that, you know, don't feel too great about themselves, it usually comes from them not feeling too great about themselves. And it comes from not even, like, at a level of success. It comes from, like, a deeper meaning that, you know, tend to not see. And it's sad, and it's unfortunate, because what people tend to think, and I remember this, like, you just think everyone's out to get you. Like, you really do. You think everyone is, like, out to get you, not your friend. Like, and then you kind of, like, when you hone in on, you know, what's actually going on inside of you, things start to clear up in the clarity. But I really do, like, I really do feel sad. And, like, I continue to, like, just pray for those people that, you know, don't feel too hot within them to be able to support others. Cause it really upsets me. And it sucks, but it's also, like, you know, the way the world works.
Oh yeah. I mean, if the world was perfect, it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially now. Oh gosh, it's been a mess. But so other than all of this, you know, wonderful self-reflection that you have done during quarantine, what else have you done to keep yourself busy? Because I know it's been, you know, live shows are not happening. It's just been crazy.
Yeah, for sure. So I have been doing a lot of writing. A ton of writing. Whether it's just journaling, and it actually seems to be more so journaling than songwriting, but it eventually turns into songwriting.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
One way or the other. And then also I've been doing my Instagram and Facebook Live. So when at the very beginning of quarantine, my original tour was supposed to be with my friend Chelsea Sulkey. And we had this tour, Every Brunette Needs a Blonde tour. And we were so ready, so excited. We got through the first week, and then we got back to Massachusetts, which is where I'm from, which is where I'm now, with my family, and everything shut down, and we were like, okay, like, what do we do now? And I was like, and she went back to New York to hang out with her family, and I was like, okay, it's like, what do I want to do since we don't have much going on? And I was like, well, what if I did, like, an Instagram live tour? And I was doing something with my friend anyway, like, why not have my friends still? And we did something I did the Lyssa and Friends tour. So I'm a huge fan of Friends, the TV show. So a lot of my fans know that too. And they're so good about tagging me in Friends stuff. And it makes me so excited and so happy. So if you guys are out there and you've tagged me, like, thank you. I always appreciate it. But I made it, like, kind of Friends themed. So the flyers, like, were it was like everyone's picture inside like the yellow picture frame, like on Monica's door.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. And it was just something I was able to do with my friends and get all of my friends together on like a live stream. And I did it weekly. I think I did like maybe 2 or 3 months worth of them. And then now I'm doing lattes with Lyssa on Thursdays.
That I saw, yeah.
Yes. So that's what we're doing now on Facebook Live every Thursday, which the time is going to change soon because I'm going to be heading back down to Nashville, which means my schedule changes. But so now we're doing lattes with Lyssa, and I am really taking this time with lattes with Lyssa to kind of step back from like the always professional business side and really like, you know, hone in on that vulnerability and like kind of what's going on and getting people to understand that we're having just as much of a difficult time as they are and really trying to create that sense of relatability that as much as we can.
Yeah. I like that. I love that. I hate that I missed the Lyssa and Friends tour thing. That would have been so good, I feel like. After seeing just your takeover today, I can imagine what that was like.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I figured it was. And then I'll have to check in on a latte with Lyssa, though, now that I know about that. Yeah, that is. But I guess some of your tour shows should still be on your Facebook, right?
Yeah. So the lattes with Lyssa ones, like every week, they're still up, like they're still going. The Friends ones, I think, are still on my Instagram page. Some of them are.
Okay, cool.
I think they're still on like IGTV or something along that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, if anybody else is curious as to I am about Lyssa's Friends tour, go to her IGTV and look it up. I am going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are from Massachusetts. Where at?
I'm sorry?
Where in Massachusetts?
Oh, so originally, so I grew up in Medway, which is down the 495, like not quite South Shore, but it's kind of getting down there. It's around the 495 area if you know New England at all. And then I moved to Westboro when I was 17, like right before I graduated, so 17, 18, and that's kind of where I got my start in music. So that's in the Worcester area. And then when I moved to Nashville, my mom moved to Our Lake House permanently, which is near New Hampshire. My dad lives in Blackstone, which is in Rhode Island. So they're on totally opposite sides of the state. So I'm kind of back and forth between there.
Okay. All right. Have you spent all of quarantine up there, or have you been in Nashville some?
So I went down to Nashville for a week to put my stuff in a storage, like a storage center. So I went down for a week, but for the most part, I've been up here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's been good. So there was a time period in my life where I didn't see my dad for 4 years, based on some personal things going on. I like kind of pushed my dad away during the divorce, and a bunch of things kind of went down with my family and that. And so for the most part, I've been staying with him. So it's been really great being able to catch up. And he's also into music. So basically what we're in is his home studio right now. So he's also really, really into music. He's a guitar player. He's been playing since he was 8. So I've like had the pleasure of being able to catch up with him and like really make up for lost time during this. So I'm so blessed that I did have this time. Like I really am.
So you've had a lot of daddy-daughter jam sessions?
Yes. Oh my gosh, so many. And he had a few weeks ago, we safely had his dad, we call him the dad band. We had them come over and they do one of them does drums, someone does bass, my dad does guitar, and then I sing, and we have fun with that. So we've been doing a lot of that, a lot of demoing, just a lot of fun stuff.
Oh yeah, that sounds like such fun. Such fun. All right. So, well, and speaking of fun, what have you done for fun during this quarantine? Have you been able to, outside of music, have you been able to find places that were open or places to go that, the quarantine didn't exactly affect? Tell us that, and then what are your hobbies? Were you able to go do what you love doing outside of music?
For sure. So one of my best friends, Lexi, she lives here in Massachusetts. She's another one. We kind of disconnected for about 3 years because we were both in a time of just growing, and we needed to grow on our own before we came back together. We were able to do that. And right before quarantine, we reconnected, which was so great because then I ended up being up here. And we've actually been able to hang out a lot since she hangs with me and then her other friend, Lizzie, and her family. And that's about it. So we were able to safely kind of figure that out. And then since we've kind of just been like kind of doing our own thing, like we'll do music. Some days we'll just like hang out and watch TV and things like that. If you ever like speak to her about me, she'll tell you like it's almost like I don't sleep. I really do work most of my life, which is so funny. I was trying to find like a hobby before like all of this craziness happened, and I was really getting into pool, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna get into pool, it's gonna be great. And then this happened, and I was like, now I have to find a new hobby. Like, what do I do? So I've been like just trying to do little things here and there. We've been able to like we do like go on drives. Like we'll go like Dunkin' Donuts in the morning, like just fun little things like that. Just kind of doing our thing. I don't think I really. Oh, you know what I've picked up? Painting. That's what I've picked up. Yeah. So I've actually. My dad's girlfriend is super into artistically like letting out emotions and things like that, but more towards like painting, drawing, that kind of stuff. So we have a bunch of canvases upstairs, and I've been like, I actually have been painting, which I'm not really like artistic in that sense. And yeah, I guess I am. I mean, I'm learning that I am. So it's been kind of cool.
Wow, that's neat. So you discovered a hidden talent.
Yes. I wouldn't say it's too much of a talent, but it's getting there.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's cool though.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I always thought that was the coolest thing when they came up with like that. And I don't know who started it, but came up with that wine and painting night. You know, you get a group of your girls and you go out and have wine and paint.
Yeah.
Like at first I was like, what a dumb idea. And then I was like, no, it's actually really cool.
Yes.
Which I've yet to go do that with like a group of friends, but I think it would be really fun. And I can't paint at all. But, you know, after a couple glasses of wine, who cares?
Exactly. Exactly. At that point, like it really doesn't matter.
Exactly. I mean, I would probably think I'm painting a masterpiece.
And that's really all that matters at that point.
Yeah. And it's all about just having fun and being together with someone else, enjoying that time.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's so important. I think if quarantine has taught us nothing else is to, you know, not take your loved ones for granted and just spend some quality time with, you know, your family, friends, whatever. And so I hope that's what other people have gotten out of it.
For sure.
As well. I mean, as bad as it is, we have to get something good out of it.
Yeah, you have to find some sort of silver lining. You know, I see a lot of these posts on Facebook that's like, oh, like I'm not going to plan anything until like we're told quarantine is over. And I'm like, well, you do that. I'm going to take advantage of this time and do my thing. And you do yours. And I'm going to take advantage of this. Like I said, I hadn't seen my dad. Like there was a time period when I didn't see my dad for 4 years, and I got to take advantage of that like this year. And that's been so great. And like just being able to like really get to know him as a person. And the interesting thing too is like it was my freshman year that me and him kind of disconnected of high school. So that was when I was like 14 or 15, and now I'm 22. So being able to get to know him in like kind of like an adult way is like really cool. Like really, really cool to like really get to know who he is as a person. I feel like that's not really a side that kids always get to see their parents as. And as much as, you know, it does stink that it happened, like I really appreciate me and my dad's relationship, because it is very like learning who he is truly, not just as a dad, but as a person.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And I don't think a lot of kids do that period with their parents. So that's wonderful. I'm so happy for you that you were able to do that.
Thank you.
I know. Now, do you have siblings?
I do. I have one sister, and she lives with my mom. So I saw my mom a lot during the beginning of this, and then I ended up switching over to my dad's, and I've just been kind of splitting time between. But I do have a little sister, my dad, and then I have a half sister who's my mom's half. My mom we have a 40-year-old sister. Needless to say, my mom was pregnant at 16, had a child then, put her up for adoption about 3 years ago. We met her for the first time, which was incredible. Wow. We got Kelly is my half sister. Hallie is my little sister. And then I have my dad and his girlfriend have been together for about 7 years. So there are 2 little ones and 2 older ones. So there are 4 of them all together. So
wow. Okay. Then there's a bunch of y'all.
Yeah. But I've really gotten the opportunity to get to know Christina, who's my dad's girlfriend, her kids, which has been so great to see how, you know, with my little sister, I feel like I saw her in a very different like light, because we're only like a year apart. So I saw her grow up in a very different way than I am seeing a 10 and a 13-year-old grow up right now.
Yeah.
So it's been very cool, very interesting.
Well, that's amazing. It sounds like you really have made the absolute best of your quarantine time.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. It's so crazy. Sometimes I like look at it and I'm just like, this is so crazy how much I've like had the opportunity to really look into my life and see
Yeah.
what I've gone to and like compare things and like just like watch myself grow has been really cool.
Yeah, and you have dug deep. That is,
Yeah.
I mean, that is amazing. That's going to help you a lot in your career.
Thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. I think it might be the overthinking part of me, and I just overthink, and then like I get out of my head, and I'm like, all right, well, how do I put my overthinking to action now that I'm out of all of this? Like I have my thoughts now. Now what do I do with them?
Yeah. Well, it's probably a good thing that you're a songwriter because you can just turn those thoughts into words and just put it on paper and make some beautiful music from all of that, I'm sure.
Yes, for sure. It's a little harder for me because I tend to, like I said, I'm a very emotional person. So when my emotions kind of take over, I tend to be like, I'm not writing about this now because I don't want to look at it right now because I can't even get the emotions out on paper. But what I've started practicing is like pushing myself to actually, when I'm in those super deep emotions, to just write whatever it takes, just write.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that like my writing on that end will like start to grow as I like continue.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic as well.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, very therapeutic. I mean, I used to write a lot of poetry. And so I can remember that and it's kind of funny that the whole not funny at all, the reason I stopped, but I probably had a notebook this thick of different poems that I wrote over a course of many years. And then I had a house fire and lost everything that I had, and my notebook of poems gone. And I was so mad at that point that I was just like, I'm never writing again.
My heart just broke into so many pieces. I don't even know what I do.
Yeah, because I was planning on making it into a book. And I was devastated.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, you know, it's okay. That was just a season of my life. And is what I had to just reduce that to. It was just a season of my life. And maybe that was a sign that's not what I was meant to do.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I don't know. I think that's why I love the Phoenix so much, is the whole symbolism behind the Phoenix.
Yep.
Because it seems like my life has went up into fire so many times, and I just start over and rebuild. And
yeah, and that's just essentially
every single time.
Yeah, essentially that's just what we got to do, you know.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
so many things are just going to tear us down, and we just got to be like, you know what, we're going to get back up and we're going to kill it again, and it's going to stink, but like, you know what always, and it's kind of funny you brought that point up, you know what always like stuns me is the statistic, like we have like 1 in like a 400 trillion chance of like being alive right now. And like that statistic like always stuns me. Like there was like a chance that like I wouldn't even be here. Like, so like, I'm not going to sit here and feel sorry for myself. Like no matter what comes my way, like I'm going to deal with the emotion and I'm going to get over it, because like I could have literally gotten in a plane crash a few times, like more than the chance of me being alive. So
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's just such a crazy statistic to me. I always get so amazed. I'm like, there are so many like people that like can't be here right now, and like I have the opportunity to, like, no way. Like that's crazy.
Yep.
And exactly. I'm like, you gotta do you, like you really do. And you know, there have been situations that I've gotten into people where it's like, well, I don't like your decisions, and I'm like, well, you're not me. So like, this is my life. Like, I know that my decisions like may impact you and hurt you, and I really apologize. And that is not my intention at all. And sometimes actions and intentions don't always match up for the other person, but like, this is my life. Like I'm going to live it. And I'm not like, I'm obviously, you know, obviously you want to make right decisions or whatever, but essentially like, if I want to go follow my dream, I'm going to go follow my dream, and I'm going to like go hard at it. Like there is nothing stopping me, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just what that statistic means to me, you know?
It's absolutely. I love that. All right.
Thank you.
Let's follow that up with a song. Have you got one to match that?
All right. So I'm actually going to backtrack a little bit to the conversation we were having about girls kind of being like mean and petty. When I moved down to Nashville, I realized I had some people that weren't really on my side. And I was like, how do we write about this? And I ended up writing about this and about how we can all live civilly. We don't have to hate each other. Like, you know, we can like go separate ways without being mean to each other. And sometimes people get that. And so I decided to kind of write a little bit about that. So I wrote this with my friend Allie Keck down in Nashville, and this is called Wishing You the Best.
All right.
All no salt, no lime. You were never the chasing kind. Big hair, good times, wearing heels a little too high. And we owned that bar, thinking one day we'd be the stars. And I watched your light burn out while mine burned bright. And I had to decide if you were worth your pride. Go on, draw the line, paint me as a bad guy while I'm throwing water on the fire. 100 miles from Tennessee, and I'll be here if you miss me. But I'm tired of walking on your wire. Talk it up, get it off your chest. Well, I'll be here, wishing you the best. How could someone like me cause you to be losing sleep? And I'm the talk of the town since I decided not to hang around. And never did I have my doubts that we were gonna make it through this drought. Yeah, go on, draw the line, paint me as a bad guy while I'm throwing water on the fire. 100 miles from Tennessee, and I'll be here if you miss me. But I'm tired of walking on your wire. Talk it up, get it off your chest. But I'll be here, wishing you the best. Never did I think you'd throw me away, or that there would ever come a day where you went ahead and drew the line, painted me as a bad guy, but I'm throwing water on the fire. Yeah, 100 miles from Tennessee, and I'll be here if you miss me. But I'm tired of walking on your wire. Talk it up, get it off your chest. Talk it up, get it off your chest. Now cut that out, get it off your chest. But I'll be here, wishing you the best.
I couldn't get to the unmute button. I love that. I like that song. Is that gonna now? When you do release music next year, are you releasing singles or
yeah? So we'll do single by single. My hope is every 2 months, or like a month and a half to 2 months is my hope. So I hope to get like a bunch of songs out. Like I'm hoping for 6 songs is probably what my goal is. So I'm hoping that's one of them. I am like making decisions. I'm writing a lot right now, so I'm kind of slowly making decisions. But I think the first 2 that I've played for you are definitely ones that you guys can probably expect.
Awesome. That's fantastic. I love that. So what is your process for naming songs? How do you come up with the name for your songs?
Usually it's like the hook. So that one was like Wishing You the Best, because that was the hook. I have a lot of the times it's a hook.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of like whatever I like kind of feel, like whatever just I'm feeling, like whatever sticks out in the song the most to me. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's been the hook. For the first song I played, I'm not really sure where I'm going with it. I kind of am trying to feel it out.
Yeah. Now, do you sometimes come up with the name and write a song around that?
Excuse me, sorry. I've tried to do that, and what ends up happening is the name of the song changes because like the song changes. So
Yeah,
like I'll
that
have
makes sense.
the concept stays, but it turns into like a different line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually what ends up happening.
That makes sense. Who were some of your inspirations for your music?
So oh my gosh, so much. So my dad, again, he played guitar since he was 8. Growing up with him, I listened to a lot of rock music, indie rock music. So like an alternative rock, so like Creed, the Goo Goo Dolls, like just a lot of those type of artists. And then my mom listened to a lot of like Billboard Top 100, like hit radio stations, like 90s, 2000 country, Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, like that kind of stuff, Shania Twain. And so I think a lot of those have inspiration in general. But also like my inspiration for just music in general and like getting into country, like the Goo Goo Dolls are a huge one. Country for me, Kelsey Ballerini and early Taylor Swift, like definitely that. One of my really good friends, Molly, she's a huge inspiration for my writing. The way that she writes just like inspires me to want to be a better writer. So she's someone who really inspires me in general as a writer. But I think like across the board, it kind of varies. I definitely take a lot of different inspirations. So like my song Whiskey in the Twilight, like me and my friend Roger, like we pulled from Summer of '69, you know, the at the beginning, like those types of things. So it really is all across the board for like where I pull from. It really depends on like what I'm feeling, what's happening, what's going on. But it really varies, like from pop punk to like rock to sometimes even like metal, like just kind of listening to like riffs and stuff within like the lead guitar parts, to country, to pop music today. I really just like pull inspiration from a lot of different things.
That's cool. That just makes you extremely versatile and just, wow, really well-rounded in music. So aside from country, what is your favorite genre, or do you have one?
I love pop punk and like alternative rock. Like I said, like Goo Goo Dolls and Creed, like I will go all day to that stuff. But like also like Blink 182 and like all of those guys who are in those pop punk, like Boys Like Girls. I love those early like 2000s and like late 90s like pop punk stuff. I love it. It's so funny because I feel like I listen to that stuff sometimes more than country, and I'm like, okay, I have to keep up with what's going on right now in country music. Like, turn on the radio for a couple minutes.
Oh, that's too good. If you had your choice, if someone was like, all right, you have your magical wish, you can open for anybody that you want to, who would it be?
Taylor Swift, hands down.
That didn't take you but a second to answer.
Hands down. That girl, like not only in her most recent album, like I cry. I was
going to ask you what you thought about that.
I love it so much. The album is so it's definitely not like radio friendly. Like I definitely don't think it's like radio friendly. Like I don't think she's going to have many radio hits. I think she'll do well on radio because she's Taylor Swift.
I don't think she cares.
The lyrics hit so hard. So hard. They hit like it's so funny because I was a Taylor Swift fan from the beginning. So like when it comes to Taylor Swift, it's like I literally, when I think of like her early days, like of Fearless and Taylor Swift, it's like Love Story. Okay. Like as like a 12-year-old, like I like remembered like Love Story being like, okay, like this is how I pictured life. And then like I look at Folklore and I'm like, okay, well, like The One and like Cardigan are things that I can relate to. So it's like every single album like grew with, like her writing grew with me as a person.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy.
Yeah, I think she's had that exact effect on a lot of people. I've noticed like other artists, other female artists that I have talked to that's probably around your same age group, all pretty much say the same thing. And I really wonder, I mean, surely she has to be aware of it. I really wonder if Taylor understands how she has impacted people like that.
Yeah, like I don't think she, like it's so funny because I think she sees like obviously her music like has impacted her fans like in a certain way, but I don't think she understands like And who knows, maybe she does, but like if I was an artist, I wouldn't see this, how her writing has grown with like not just the style of her music, like her actual like what she's talking about. Like yes, when I was 20, I was thinking about fairy tale relationships, and now I'm 22 and I'm thinking about like the real life, like folklore, like things like relationships that she's talking about in her writing. It's so crazy. It like amazes me.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's weird in the very, very beginning, in her beginning of her career, when she was opening for George Strait, I loved her. And then I went through this period when I was like, I can't stand her.
Yep. I definitely went through that.
And then my son talked me into watching the documentary that she put out.
Oh, so good.
And I fell in love with her.
So good. I think that's what made fun. So I fell off. I probably was there until like Sparks Fly, or Speak Now, I'm sorry, her album Speak Now, and like Red, I was kind of there for a little bit, but then I fell off, and then Reputation came around, and I was like, okay, there's something about this album that I'm like not completely hooked on, but kind of, and then the album grew on me, and then I lost her again in the Lover album, which she has a few good tunes. I lost her a little bit there with that, but I can see she was kind of having fun with that. I saw that, and then she like just grabbed me right back in with this one. I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think I would venture to guess that this is going to be her best-selling album.
I agree with that 100. And I think the thing is that, and I don't mean to like diss her at all. I think this is just like the patterns that I have seen. I think Lover was an album where people are like, okay, like, but what's coming next? Like, this is fun. It's cute. It's pop. It's colorful. It's, you know, it's great. But what's next? Like,
exactly.
And so people who didn't hop on with Lover were waiting for that to happen. And it happened. And now everyone's going to like rush back and come back. So I agree.
The way she released it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She just like dropped it. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah. Yeah. I can remember my son came in the living room, and he's 18, and of course he's all about Taylor. He came in the living room and he's like, so how about I just heard Taylor's dropping a full album tonight? And I'm like, what?
I know, it was so crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. I was like, okay, that's different, but she can do that.
Yeah. Her writing's just incredible on it. I really love it.
Yeah, I have yet to ask anybody what they think about it and got a negative opinion.
Yes. I've asked one person and they didn't like it, and I know that they're more of a radio hits type person, so I totally get their perspective on it. But like, I think that this is definitely going to be up for a few Grammys, 100%.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't doubt that at all. And I wonder how long it took her to write the songs that she has on there and plan that album. Is this something that's been a long time planning, or did she just like, okay, I'm in this mood?
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you on that. Like, when did this whole process, like when did the first one of these songs kind of kick off?
Exactly. Because I mean, with her surprise release, it just makes you wonder if everything else was just, I'm feeling it. Here we go. And then on to the next, and like that, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Anyway. Okay. So have you always done music? I know with your dad being musical, you probably did when you were little, or like, when did you really get into it?
Okay. So I'll give you like the short version of the timeline. So we have me really like my parents noticed that I was really into music as a hobby when I was 2, and I was like belting Annie in the backseat. That was kind of like my dad like always like tells a story. He's like, you may have not sounded like amazing, but you belted that note for note, like word for word. You knew it. Like, that was kind of the beginning. And then as I grew up, like, I remember I would like be 5 years old dancing in my foyer with like my Britney Spears karaoke track, like with my karaoke machine in the foyer. And I'd always be the one putting on, performances for, my parents' friends and things like that. And then I did voice lessons when I was like 13 for like a year or 2. And I loved her, but it was a classical trainer. It wasn't what I was into. And then when I turned 14 or 15, I started up again with voice lessons. Again, nothing serious. I really there was really, up until I was 18, I thought that you had to be just like picked up by a label. Like, there was no industry. Like, I thought it was like, you're picked up, you're there. Like, I didn't know that you could grow. So from 14 to 16 or 17, I did vocal lessons with someplace near Medway, which was where I was originally from. And then when I turned 17, I moved to 18, I moved to Westboro. I started with a new vocal coach in Westboro, and that's when it all really kicked off. Like that's when, you know, my vocal coach was like, and you can get paid for gigs, and here's an open mic, and you're going to go play at Faneuil Hall for your first gig. And it was like, whoa, wait, hold on, everyone stop. And I really like had this like realization that I could, not only could I do this as a career, but like I could, it's a business, and that I could make money off of it. And the second I realized that, because this had been like essentially been a dream since I was 2 or 3, and just not understanding how to get into it. But when I really had that realization, I was like, let's go. Like I was ready. I was like, let's do it. And I've been, you know, kind of in the industry for about 5 years, but I've been really like, as an artist, I've been in it for about three and a half years.
Wow. Okay. So you didn't go to college to like do business school or anything?
Nope. I tried college. I really did. And it just was not for me. I was like, this is not my path.
Yeah. And that's okay. That's totally okay. Everybody has their own path.
Okay, yes.
But you're so obviously dedicated to learn everything that you can about the industry and
like production. I want to know how to play guitar, how to play piano. I want to understand at least a basis of music theory. Like I don't have patience to learn like more than that. But like a basis of music theory. I like to learn about like how literally like I'll sit with my producer for hours and just watch what he's doing and see like, and I'll ask questions like, what are you doing? Like, how do you do that? Songwriting. I will like learn about other artists' journey and how they got through it. The business side, booking, management. Like I have just taken on like everything. And I'm like, I want to learn every single aspect of this industry that I can, so I can succeed at like with like my full potential.
Oh yeah. And I think that's amazing because a lot of singers do not have a clue about the business side of it and just totally let somebody else run their business. And to me, that's insane.
It is insane because essentially like it's your business, like it's your business, your money, like you're putting your money somewhere.
Yes.
Like you should know how to run your own business.
Exactly. And until I started working for Ryan, I had no clue about the music industry. I mean, except being, you know, a fan from a fan perspective. The business end of it, I mean, the business end of anything is large as it can be. You know, it's always large and technical, but I had no idea what kind of work went into releasing one song.
Can I tell you, I go through this with my artists all the time, with my artists with Cloud9. So I take on artists and I help them do what I do. And when I say, have you thought about X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and I go through the alphabet twice, they're like, oh, and I'm like, yes, like we have to go through this. Like when we talk about a photo shoot, we have to say, okay, and especially for females, what's your like makeup gonna look like? What's your hair gonna look like? What's your outfit gonna look like? What's your jewelry gonna look like? What is the concept for this? Where are you gonna be? Like, where's the setting? What photographer are you gonna use? What style of photography do you want? Do you want black and white? Like, that's just like the album art. Like, that's not even the song. Like, that's not even the actual. And then there's social media and how much money do you want to put into social media? And then there's your distributor and your campaign and like all this crazy stuff. It is so insane what it takes to put out one song.
Yes.
Like the amount of content you need. And I'm like, okay, well, do you have like a visualizer? Like, what are you going to do for this? Like, do we have a 2-week countdown? Like, what do we have? It's so crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was blown away. I was like, this is insane. People don't know what the work that goes into it.
It's insane.
It is crazy. And like the couple few weeks before, once you have a release date set, those couple 3 weeks before, and then the couple weeks after, it's just like complete madness and chaos.
It is. And you think no matter how organized you are, you think you're going to be organized enough, and then you're not. And you could be as organized. Nope.
Yep, not happening. Nope. Now, so is Cloud9, is that your company?
Yeah, so that's my company.
Wow. Okay, I did not know that.
Yes, so I own it. And then my dad he has a guitar lessons company, Mythos Sound Studio, but he also does demos and stuff. So he is partnered with us. And then we have Lexi Jordan, who is another artist in the industry, who she's actually interning for me. She's been super kind this summer to like take on a whole lot and like intern for me. She's a lot of the social media. So whenever you see like any post on social media, it's typically her. And she does all of that, and it's just the three of us. But I started the company with a partner originally, and then the partner actually ended up having some personal things that he needed to work out. So he went off, and it was about a month and a half into launching, and I was like, I'm just going to take this on, and I'm going to work with artists and make their dream happen, because that's what I like to do.
That is amazing, Lyssa. I didn't realize that was your company. So we're going to talk about your company and get the word out about that then, because we've talked about you a little bit. So let's do your company some justice.
Yeah.
I first heard about it through Liam Coleman.
Yeah, so Liam's awesome. So he's one of our artists, and I have absolutely loved
He's
working with him.
fantastic.
He is. His energy, like, man, like the act that he can put on is so incredible. And I tell him this, I'm like, dude, you got a great act. Like, your energy and your voice is like killer.
Yes.
It's been a lot of fun to work with him.
Blew me away when I found out that kid was 16 years old. I was like, what?
I know, you would never, like, his voice is just so crazy. And I told him this, when I first started working with him in February, I think it was, his voice was like, to now, oh my gosh, like the growth is insane. The talent is crazy.
Yeah, really is. And he could not praise you enough, talking about that, that Cloud9 had picked him up, and he was super excited about that. And I just think he's a great kid. You've got a great artist in him. And I looked at Cloud9 because I had not heard of you before I interviewed Liam. And so of course with him mentioning you, I wanted to look it up and all, and I was pretty impressed, I have to say.
Thank you.
And the artists that you have with you, you've got a great group.
Thank you.
So tell us what you do there. So artist development, that could be very broad. So what does that entail?
Yeah. So at first we were just going to do artist development. Like, we weren't going to do any add-on stuff, like super simple. And then we ended up starting, we added on web design, other graphic designs like flyers and stuff. And then social media management, which is like another side of it. But within the, within the artist development side, again, we focus really, really focus on the business side. We focus on why it's important to improve on your craft. Not quite the craft itself, not quite okay, this is how you sing, but why it's important to get a vocal coach and get a performance coach and work on these aspects. We go through branding a ton. I think that's probably the biggest thing we go through is branding and social media management, and how artists can brand themselves and how to brand yourself, and why it's important to have that visual brand and, that product, that solid product, how to, put that together. And then we go through, okay, what does my social media need to look like? What do I need to create as an artist for people to pay attention? So really that's what Cloud9 does, is we really focus on the business side, really, really focus. We also do songwriting feedback. So what we'll do is we actually did this with Liam 2 weeks ago, which was a lot of fun. It was him, myself, my dad, who actually helped out, and he actually does branding as well. He's actually a life coach, but he does branding. Incredible branding coach. And then my friend Darian Lee, who's another amazing artist, and we all sat down with him over Zoom, and we said, okay, what are the songs you're looking at? And we went through all the songs with him. And we essentially helped him, choose what songs he wanted to do for his EP, and kind of just talked about okay, why would this song fit well with your brand and fit with your storyline? Why are you picking this song? Just kind of going through that, talking about, what's radio ready, talking about what's going to get hit to his audience well. So we do a lot of that, but essentially we do a ton of branding, a ton of social media management, a ton of how to book yourself nationally, because I've been very fortunate enough to be able to start booking myself nationally. So how to book yourself nationally, not just in your state, how to book locally, how to create different, sources of income and different lines of revenue and all of that. But we really show artists how they can make this a career and not just, some dream that you pursue for 2 years and then kind of go on your way.
Yeah. Well, that is interesting. That I would imagine that, that would benefit quite a lot of people because so many people come to Nashville and they know they want to sing, but they don't have a clue what to do.
Yes,
Except, go to a local bar and start playing.
absolutely. And I think the big thing that I wanted from the company was I wanted to help people who didn't know about this, like I didn't know about it. I wanted to help those type of people because I was explaining to a few of my friends the other day and explaining to my dad's girlfriend the other day, I had this like small window that if that small window didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Right.
So by just providing that small window for people and saying, hey, we can help you out and we can teach you how to do this at a price that's not like completely dumb, stupid, like tons of managers and artist development companies are trying to take from people. Like we make it so that it's priced because we like at a good price because like I know that it takes $1,000+ to record one song. I'm not trying to scam you. I'm not, because I know what it's like. And also I'm someone who's like, if I don't feel like you're a fit for the company because you might just not be ready or you're not open to that feedback yet, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. And I don't want to waste your money. That's not my goal of Cloud9. My goal of Cloud9 is to really, truly help artists create a career, a business for themselves.
Right.
So I really take pride in that. I think Lexi, my dad, and I all take pride in the fact that we are by artists for artists. We like really hone in on that.
And I like that. I think that's what I love about so much about you having this company is that it is for artist by artist. So you're not just another me trying to tell somebody what to do or, pretend like you know what you're doing and, trying to direct someone.
Exactly.
Because I feel like you have to, you don't necessarily have to be a musician or, a singer or a songwriter, but well, yeah, you do. I mean, if you're going to critique somebody on their songwriting, maybe you should know a little bit about songwriting yourself in some fashion.
Exactly. And I think the big thing that always strikes me too is like the amount, like how much our mental health matters, like in this career.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. I'm so glad you said that.
Well, like so crazy how much like mental health matters, because I've realized that when I'm not feeling up to this, like it's not good for a few weeks. Like it's me really slacking. So I think it's important to have someone like managers that haven't gone through it are also great, because obviously the connections, like, I mean, like my goal obviously is to have someone like you manage me someday, obviously that's a goal. But when you're first starting out, to have someone who's like, who has recently gone through like the amount that it takes, like mental capacity that you need, and understands the mental capacity that you need in order to go through this, it's kind of reassuring. And it's kind of like, okay, so she's struggled through this. This is a struggle that she's gone through. Like she got through it, I can get through it. And this is how she's gotten through it. So maybe I can find ways that, kind of relate to that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I am so glad that you brought that up, because there are so many careers that add so much stress to a person. Mm-hmm. But I think especially this industry, when someone is trying to make it, that it is so stressful. You get told no more than you're going to get told yes. And how do you handle those rejections?
You get told no like almost every single day, like whether it is by a venue that doesn't answer you, or being told no by a venue that just isn't interested in you, or whether it's by a fan who, or not even a fan, a hater, quote unquote hater, who's just like, you suck, or whether it's a family member who's like, you are not going to make it and this is dumb, or if it's a friend who just doesn't believe in you. Like the amount of rejection we receive in this industry, like sometimes I like wonder how I get through it, because I'm like, why doesn't that bother me? But like for some reason it's just like it does sometimes, but like other days I'm just like, because I love what I'm doing. Like essentially I'm making music and I'm creating something for people to relate to. So yeah, it's a lot of rejection. It is.
Yeah, it is. And that, I mean, I feel like you can only take, and I don't know about it from an artist standpoint, but from a management standpoint, I've not gotten that email that I thought I would get back, or, get this booked that I thought was a sure thing. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, did I do something wrong? Or are they just not interested in him? Or, and then I'm like looking at my emails, like, could I make it better? So I think it's a constant struggle.
it's how can I improve? What can I do better? What are artists doing that I'm not, that maybe I can consider? How can I make this email better? A lot of research, and I think the biggest thing for me, and something that I'm always hesitant about, is like asking other industry people questions. Like not afraid to be like, hey, like, I know that I'm not at this point, but like, can I ask you a question? Like, that's something that always intimidates me. I have been, I've been in touch with some pretty big people in this industry. I've been so fortunate since I moved down to Nashville to like actually have the opportunity to see what goes on a label and things like that. And there have definitely been opportunities when I've been so nervous to even like go and ask a question, because I'm just like, what's overstepping? Like, what do I do? Like, how do and for me, networking is kind of, as much as it's a strong point, it's definitely, it's one of my stronger points, but it's also one of my weaknesses. It's so weird how it works like that. Like, once I'm in it, but when I'm not in it, I am not in it.
It can be very intimidating. And I wanted to stop for a minute. I said it right the other day. I want to make sure I say it right again. Jovan is, I love him, her, I don't even know. Oh my God. I'm assuming it's a him, from Scotland. And he has been on the last several of my shows watching. And he's just a dedicated fan. And then he becomes fans of whoever I have on.
So
and awesome. I love that. And he just said he's loving this conversation.
Yes, I love that.
Yes, it's a him. Yes. Okay. I thought so. Just wanted to clear that up. But yeah, I do too, because I've not had anybody on that we've had this kind of conversation before. I almost feel like we've had Lyssa Coulter on. I almost feel like we need to have Cloud9 on.
Hey, we can definitely make that happen. We can have my dad, Lexi, and myself all come on and talk. I mean,
let's do that. Yes, Lyssa, let's plan that. I would love that.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Jovan. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to plan that for sure. I want to do that because that is something I'll actually have you on my other show, which is still on this same page. But it's called The Other Side.
Oh, cool.
And I usually do that on Wednesday nights. And it's for like anything besides the front man, the singer-songwriter that's out front, that's getting all the attention. Gotcha. The other side is for the other side.
Yes.
The drummer, the guitar player, the management company, any of the behind the scene people that, the bus driver, the setup guys, anybody that's heavily involved in the team that the artist could not make it without, but they get no credit or no recognition.
I would love to be and have that. Like, honestly, that makes me like just feel so good that like to be able to be recognized on that side of things. That, like, thank you so much. Like, that makes me feel like just so happy and so good, like, about what I do. I love it. I really do. I love it so much. I love being able to get artists out. It's, I don't know. I wanted to be a teacher when I was like in high school before, like, I knew the industry was a thing. And the fact that I can teach in a way that like my career is so cool.
That you can teach your passion to someone else. Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's the whole reason I started The Other Side. And honestly, it's been on my brain. It's kind of like you guys with songwriting, that, you might hang on to a song in your back pocket for a long time and never do anything with it because you just don't know when the timing's right, And so I've had this thought for this other show for a long, long time. And I just never pulled the trigger on it until 2 days ago. I had my first guest on. And he's a drummer. And so Jovan was on that show. He caught it, and Destiny as well. But and he said the same thing you did. He was like, I love that you thought of this. And I did. I feel like, because now I'm seeing like how hard the other side works as well. And even though the artist, you may recognize your team and thank them for everything that they do for helping get you, where you are. Mm-hmm. the public might not know anything about them.
Yes. And I think
I love showcasing that.
That's something that I've really appreciated about like artists right now, like in the industry, like the ones that have had to cancel their tour, how much they're highlighting their crew because they know that their crew like don't have jobs right now. Like they are really taking the time to like highlight the people behind the scenes. And I just think that is so cool. Like, because we don't see that. Like, and they're like Taylor Swift and maybe Kenny Chesney, or there was another artist that like was like, there are over 100 people on this team, like who leave their families for years at a time. Like, these are the guys that you need to like, and it's so incredible just to like hear that, like when artists like truly value that. So I always try at every single show, I always try to thank the sound guys like publicly and as much as I can. And I'll always give my guys a shout out and stuff like that. Like I really always try to like give those, like the people that aren't seen the chance, because like as someone who is behind the scenes, like it's a lot. It is like essentially like when I think about it, like not only am I managing like myself and my career, I'm managing 3 or 4 other artist careers at a time, like, you know, with the artist development stuff, making sure that I'm leading them on like the right track. So like I know what it's right to be like, what it's like to be on, you know, the opposite side of that. And it's a lot.
It is. It absolutely is. And I'm so glad that I asked you about your company, to find out, 1, that it was yours, and 2, to hear a little bit more about it. I think you're doing a wonderful thing with that. We're definitely going to make a whole show out of that. So we'll plan that. Lyssa, I have loved having you today. Oh my gosh. It has been like the best day. I loved how you did the takeover. Now I understand why you were so brilliant at it.
Oh my God. Thank you.
And I have just loved having you all day today and tonight. We are definitely going to do this again.
Yes.
But let's end this with the song that you were thinking about, whatever you had in mind that you wanted to end the interview with.
We're going to end this with what I usually end every show with, which is my single Cruisin', which is out on Spotify and Apple Music. Yeah. So you guys can check this one out just under Lyssa Coulter on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, all that fun stuff. This is my summer single Cruisin' that I released last May, and we've just been jamming to it. So
it's great. Yes, I'm ready for it.
Thank you. Smoke down, 30 miles an hour, blue sky, and that water tower. Big world, but all I know is you. To tell you the truth, and boy, the things we could do. And I saw you walking down the stairs, black t-shirt and that hat that you'd always wear. Grabbed my waist, yeah, it felt so right when you pulled me in tight. 'Cause I remember kissing you there, my hands in your hair, and I'm losing it. And I remember that late night call, said you catch my phone when I'm cruising. And we're taking our time, giving all we have, living for today, never turning back. Oh, 'cause I remember your favorite song, yeah, we sing along as we're cruising. Midnight, dancing around the kitchen, headlights, there ain't nothing missing. Feels like the world's at our feet. There ain't nothing to be when you're falling to me. Then I saw you walking down the stairs, black t-shirt and the hat that you'd always wear. Grabbed my waist, yeah, it felt so right when you pulled me in tight. Oh, oh, 'cause I remember kissing you there, my hands in your hair, and I'm losing it. And I remember that late night call, said you catch my phone when I'm cruising. And we're taking our time, giving all we have, living for today, never turning back. Oh, 'cause I remember your favorite song, yeah, we sing along as we're cruising, All this back and forth we try man, just hold it. When he tells you that you gotta give it a minute, just breathe it. Yes, I remember kissing you there, my hands in your hair, and I'm losing it. And I remember that late night call, said you catch my phone when I'm bruising. And we're taking our time, giving all we have, living for today, never turning back. Oh, yes, I remember your favorite song. Yeah, we sing along as we're cruising. We're cruising. We're cruising.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
I heard that earlier on Spotify. I had it going.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so everybody, if you are not already, go follow Lyssa on Facebook, Instagram. Go follow her on Spotify, whatever music outlet that you use. I use Spotify, so that's where I'm following you at. Be sure to download her music, support her, and check out Cloud9.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, anytime. You are welcome anytime. You just let me know, and we will definitely set the Cloud9 one up. We'll do that. And I just want to say thank you to Jovan again. Thank you. He said another great show. I just looked up because I was curious. It is 1:30 in the morning in Scotland right now.
Oh my goodness.
So he is staying up late to watch
That's so crazy.
any of my shows. So I appreciate that so much. You are very, very much appreciated. I thank you for that. And I think he likes to watch the show because he finds new artists that he likes. And you will have a dedicated fan in him, I'm sure.
I love that. I love that. I'm ready for it. Bring it on. We'll get you in the Coulter crew real fast.
Yeah, I love that. That's what I love about this is when I have somebody that typically watches my show and then they come on and they haven't seen you before and you've made a new fan.
Yes, that's so great. And we appreciate that so much, like so much.
Yeah, I think that is so great. Oh, bless you too. I hope you have a great night. Thank you so much. I don't typically do Saturdays, but as long as nothing has changed, I'll be back on at 4:00 tomorrow. I have another interview at 4:00 tomorrow.
Awesome.
So letting Jovan know it'd be a little bit nicer hour for him at that point.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't typically do Saturday interviews anymore. I'm trying to keep the weekend to my family, but I did schedule one because it was the only time that he had. So
for sure.
Made an exception there. You know, we do that from time to time. But again, Lyssa, I just want to thank you so much. You have been a fantastic guest to have on. Fantastic IG takeover person. I couldn't have left it in better hands today. And I thank you so much. And I wish you all the best in your career and everything that you do. You've got so much going for you. And girl, you are killing it on all fronts.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Anything you want to let the fans know that we haven't already talked about or said?
I don't think so. Thank you guys so much for watching, though. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to give Stacie's page a like and a follow all over, 100%. And we'll see you guys soon.
All right. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I will be here at 4:00 tomorrow for an interview with Justin Love. As long as nothing has gone awry with that, everything should be go. Otherwise, y'all have a great and wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you later. Bye.